night scene spreads out around me. People are dressed in yukata, heading in the direction of the beach. It's time for the floating lanterns already. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful again this year. There's a sign here for the floating lanterns. It explains that the lanterns in Natsukiri aren't floated out to sea like in other places, but are made like balloons out of Japanese paper. The air inside is warmed by a candle to be released up into the sky. There's a picture of the lanterns all rising like fireflies, a light from the stars, and the ground all merging into a single brilliant illumination. It also says it started in the Kamakura period, but reasons for this tradition have not been passed down into the present. No one remembers. I see lanterns rising into the sky, an illusory column of light. Across hundreds of years, every single year without fail, light sent off into the sky by the hands of so many people. They align and merge together, becoming so bright it's like daylight around them. The very air quivers. Then another lantern rises upward. As I watch the lights rising away, the light in front of me fades away. A moment ago, it looked like everything melted together, but now it's like water dripping from a waterfall, flowing backward in time, slowly increasing the darkness of the night. 10 more lights, they continue upward, blending into the darkness. 5, 4, 3, 2, and the final one, glittering brightly one final time, shuddering as though afraid to leave my sight. I hear a cat meow. Then again, this one is slightly higher pitched. 2 cats then. It's coming from the bamboo grove next to the temple, and a calm, natural voice rings in my head. Neutral voice, sorry. Let me show you the beginning of the lantern tradition in this place. You seem to have forgotten about it. The final light in front of me flies off toward the bamboo grove, as though inviting me along behind it, as though enticing me to remember something even more important. Okay. This bamboo grove, I guess. The one beside the temple. So. Oh yeah, that's this one. Okay. I hear a man's voice. This is a memento of my father and the departed princess. We shall place them here and create a temple. Forgive me, both of you, for laying you to rest here in this place so far from our ancestral lands. Please, forgive me. We shall build a temple as best we can. We have limited tools, limited workers, but we will do what we can. We have time. Some people around him are crying. What is this? From the time the temple was first created? Now it's a small but fine-looking temple, but it seems to have been created long ago as a memorial to someone. The ball of light turns to the left and heads away along the mountain path. The mountain path at night looks like the darkness has opened its maw for me, instilling the terror that I might be caught forever in the dark, deathless world. But then I remember the voice from before telling me to remember something I've forgotten. Those words ring inside my skull, binding me, and it feels like I'm being drawn toward the mountain path, with almost no sensation in my own hands and feet. So is this is the mountain path? Yeah. Cool. Oops. Whoa. That's right, this is nothing compared to having lost everything. Struggling through those mountains, that endless muddy track, no sensation in our feet, our food all used up. And yet all that, nothing again. Compared to everything we had already lost. It's a man's voice again. Then I see people, dozens of them, men, women, young, old, silently walking through the mountains at night. I look more closely to see they are all wearing dirty, torn kimono, and many of the men have swords at their sides. This isn't a contemporary vision. Maybe it is connected to how the lanterns got started. Interesting. It's like I'm looking down on them from a slightly floaty, elevated position. They can't see me. Don't know I'm there. My body is light, floating like one of the lanterns. I can clearly see the expressions on their faces. Their bodies are exhausted, with some of them even walking barefoot, perhaps having worn out their sandals. Their feet are bleeding from under their nails, from their legs. But it looks like a while since they have had any time to worry about such injuries or take a break. An old lady falls over, her legs collapsing beneath her. She has to be at her physical limit. She raises her arm and tries to grab the sleeves of one of the passing men. The man is young and small, however, and apologizes before looking away and carrying on. The others do the same. Okay. No one stops to help her. No one tries to pick her up or carry her. She is left behind by an exhausted group, left alone in the darkness. That means this kind of thing, leaving one of their own behind, isn't the first time this exhausted group has done that, as they head towards some destination or away from somewhere else. They simply continue to walk, pushed on by deep despair and the animalistic, semi-unconscious instinct for those with the energy and only those to carry on as hard as they possibly can. What it looks like. Oh, this will look really nice, isn't it? Not really, actually. What? Sagan has been killed? Are you sure? Yes, Lord Sagan and his men fought bravely, but their fort was overrun and fell into enemy hands. It must have been hard for him to leave you and the princess behind, Lord Aratachi. Please, compose yourself. I heard these voices from the darkness. The clapping sound of armor too, the light of candles, the presence of multiple men. I'm seeing a scene from long ago. That much is clear now. Aratachi, that name has a nostalgic ring to it. Who was he? The man bites his lip hard, gripping his hands together and glaring down at the ground as though he bore a hole into it. We have been fighting for decades. At one time we pushed them back, thriving for a while, but then the tide turned against us again. And our foe surged back. Now so few of us remain. Having the bold Sagan on our side was perhaps the final thing supporting our morale. I know that all too well. Losing him might be the final blow for us. Lord Sagan, or Sagan? I guess it's Sagan, has been our ally since the time of your father, Aratachi. And I also feel such sorrow for his daughter, Lady Ray. Ooh. We're going back in time. A young woman is sitting alone in a room illuminated by the pale blue moon, reading by the light of a candle. In comes the master of this castle, the young man called Aratachi. As avid a reader as ever, I see. At that comment, she shifts her eyes from the book and looks at him. Her long eyelashes glitter translucently in the moonlight. Yes, just like you, my lord Aratachi. Is it strange for a woman like me to read so much, perhaps? She smiles at Aratachi. He turns his eyes aside as though unable to look directly at her smile. A heavy silence lasts for a few moments as he struggles to reach a difficult subject. The woman continues speaking, perhaps aware of his hesitation and perhaps not. But I have a strong feeling the conflict will end soon. Once that happens, we need more remaining than barren sadness. I need to plant something beautiful inside myself and nurture it keenly for when our world of peace finally arrives. When it does, I hope that I may find the opportunity to share with those people the knowledge and stories I've learned. Whether they are poems that tell of distant land, the records of this conflict, or tales of your brilliance, Aratachi. After all, we suffer such hardships at the moment, our people and our soldiers both, with scant fun to be had in these times of strife. You are of noble blood, it is unlikely that you will be allowed to address the common folk so casually. Why ever not, though? This world is always changing, or maybe we shall be the ones to change it. The princess has a gentle smile on her face, but Aratachi's face is harsh. To change the world indeed. If I had not been born into such times, I would have loved to live my life in poetry and song. But all I can do today is fight. Silence falls again. A hard and heavy silence, as though the shadows cast by the moonlight through the window can be seen moving across the room. Aratachi is the one who breaks it, although he seems unable to broach his real reason for being there. When you first came to me, it was on the night of a beautiful moon like this. To start with, I didn't even want to meet you. Seigen has long been an ally of my father. To hear of his daughter, the daughter of such an important man, and that she was to be married to me? Just the kind of scheme my father would think up. I thought of myself as nothing but a leaf carried swirling through the torrent of my father's ambitions to simply be used by him until you actually arrived. Until you came to this place and I saw your beauty and your grace for the first time. He stops talking again. The princess seems to have sensed something in his manner. Lord Aratachi, you've come to tell me something, have you not? She asks. Determination finally settles on his face. Your father is gone. I am told it was a brave and fitting end. I see. And what will you do next? Continue the fight. That is the only choice. But is it really what you want to do? Ah, but no, I shouldn't ask such things. Please, may I be alone for a while? I wish to bathe in the moonlight a little longer. Now I see a scene from a different room. Another group of men gathered, muttering to themselves while looking all around. Since our Lord met with betrayal from our former allies and fell, leaving young Aratachi to take up his seat, it is fact that the presence of Lord Saigen has provided so much support to our men. Things are going to get a lot harder now from us. How is Princess Rai doing? Rai? Ruh-oh. She has sunk into depression, looking at the moon all night, without once taking to her bed. We have but few soldiers left between all of us and Lord Aratachi. What can we hope to achieve? We must protect Princess Rai, though. We stand on the back foot. Our bloodline is proof of our legitimacy. Indeed, but what of Lord Aratachi? He might have made a fine lord if not for this crisis. He still yearns for the pen in his poems, and is not much of a warrior. His father and Lord Saigen must have both regretted their passing with the future of our land still so in doubt. I understand what you were saying. With our current lord and remaining numbers, we can't hope to maintain morale. But if we fold now, our righteousness, our justice will be trampled to nothing. There are things they are talking about. Other things also flow into me, the worries of the people, fragments of conversation, and their concerned expressions. Everything speaks to the tension they all hold toward the situation with seemingly no resolution. In that moment, a mounted soldier arrives at the gate and starts knocking. He looks in terrible shape, like he barely escaped from the enemy. The soldier passes through the gate, unwraps a preciously created piece of cloth, and offers Seigen's sword to Aratachi and Princess Rai. He explains how it was the blade the Lord used to commit his ritual suicide. This soldier was ordered by her father to bring the weapon to his daughter, and rode without pause to complete the task. Well, the princess, who is now been so stalwart until now, sees the sword and breaks down quietly crying. Without any time for serious grief, the soldier has another important piece of information to impart. Enemy forces are approaching their position through 3 directions. They should come into view any moment. They try to gather whatever forces they have, but Aratachi and his few remaining men are never going to offer effective resistance to the threat. Time passes quickly, uncaring for their plight. Among the fragments I see of these events, one is Aratachi going to see the princess. The final battle is almost upon us. Being of the bloodline of your mother, we have no idea what the enemy may do if they catch you. Should we face defeat, we need to prepare to take appropriate action. Lord Aratachi, I have one important request. There's a long silence. I feel like I can see the candles in the room slowly burning shorter. I've been thinking one thing this entire time. I've become convinced it is your only choice. Please surrender to the enemy. If you continue this fight, more innocent lives will be lost and nothing more. Please choose to protect the lives of your living vassals and ministers. This seems like a sudden development. I have no way of knowing the effect of these words have on his heart, but however he might feel about the idea, even as such an ardent request from his wife, he can't possibly accept in his position. This, coming from the daughter of Sagan, a brave hero who died with honor. No, you think I'm a coward too, do you? With my father and Sagan gone? You still think I'm unworthy to stand in command of my men? His expression is not one of anger, but more of sadness, maybe even disappointment. No, that's not what I'm saying. Please, believe me. Do you think my father wished for our destruction? This is difficult to say, but my father had taken to say something in his final days. That is anything were to happen to him. Just hearing that prompts Aratachi to hurry from the room. He orders the guards outside to lock the door and keep the princess inside until the fighting ends. The next morning, sunlight faintly illuminates the mountains from behind the banks of Ash Greaterhand. The enemy forces spread into the distance, completely surrounding the fortress. Faced with these overwhelming odds, the fortress they are trapped inside looks like little more than a mud hut. A flash of light through the clouds illuminates the faces of the enemy, and as though taking that as their signal, they unleash a storm of flaming arrows. It almost looks like the flock of lanterns I saw earlier, but this flock is filled with the swirling intent of evil. It takes mere moments for the fire to spread, and the castle is thrown into chaos. Soldiers rush around with water, but further burning arrows rain down as quickly as the fire can be extinguished, and the flames only go higher. The gates and guard towers are aflame. If the enemy advance like this, Aratachi's forces will be unable to prevent them from reaching the main keep. Amid the shouts of rage, anguish, and despair, something untoward happens. A hail of thunder rolls out, as loud as to almost split the world. A peal of thunder. I'd never heard that before. The clouds boil a darker black, and vertical torrents of rain begin to shaft down, placing the castle at the foot of a waterfall. Neither side can maneuver in the downpour, and the ground quickly turns to mud, causing a forced ceasefire. The fires are all extinguished too, but no one is celebrating. The issue is far from greater than that of fire arrows and flames now. Once this rain stops, the enemy are going to pour in and trample fort on the foot. That will bring an end to this long conflict. The rain seems heavy and hard, all underneath it. Then this strangely eldritch sound of a conch shell began to blow out. From a misty forest in a different direction from the enemy, something shining darkly moves toward the castle. Amid the downpour, 4 bearers with scarf-covered heads are carrying a palanquin capably over the rain-drenched ground, quietly walking toward the castle. The guards shout them to stop, asking them who they are, but the approaching men pay no heed. One of the soldiers dashes out to confirm who these newcomers are. After observing them for a while, sharing a few words and checking inside the palanquin, the guards return to report. Lord Aratachi, someone claiming to be a monk asks for an audience with you. In the middle of this battle, some agent of the enemy, most likely. I inspected them all carefully and found no weapons. They repeated only that they serve no warrior, and simply hope to bring some measure of aid to those who pray to God. If we allow an audience before the rain ends, the monk said, there will be a way for us to escape this predicament. Crafty dogs, just what are they after? Another peal of thunder rolls out. For one moment, clouds in the corner of the sky seem to part, and the rain seems to slow. Once the rain ends completely, the enemy will surely attack again. Aratachi looks off into the distance to change the world, and to talk of poems with people. My lord? Nothing. You've checked for weapons, correct? But things like poisons too? Yes, a thorough inspection. Very well, let us see where this leads. If they make any suspicious movement, cut them down where they stand, prepared to admit them. The gates are opened and the unsettling black palanquin allowed admittance. A man with a black cloth wrapped around his head climbs out. He moves up to Aratachi and kneels. Remove your headcloth, I need to look upon your face. Of course, I apologize for any offense I may have caused. The man proceeds to use both hands to lift the cloth from his face. The visage inside looks old, but has strangely lustrous skin. It is also completely hairless, with no eyebrows or even eyelashes. His expression is so fixed, his mouth might be glued to his face, but his eyes are sparkling. He looks so strange, it sends a quiver through my soul. Like something from another world, rather than a god that might save them. It looks more like an agent of death himself has appeared among them. You do seem to be having some trouble here. The man gives out a dry rasp of a laugh deep inside his throat. I'm pleased you're so amused. We are merely humble monks, seeking to save as many as we can from this wild and dangerous world. Allow us to give our own prayer for this land of corpses. Just what are you planning? I will not allow any tricks. We are planning nothing, we assure you. My brothers and I seek only to save lives. This world is a place of spiritual training, overflowing with pain. To make our way through it and pray for others is also how we train. It seems you and all your men are suffering most bitterly here. You hardly need eyes to tell you that. Once the rain ends, the battle will be engaged, and we will surely perish. The monk rasped out another laugh at this proclamation from Aratachi. The men around him are disturbed by this, and some reach for their swords. But Aratachi stops them. The monk continues. Would you like to make a deal with our god? We have the power to offer such a bargain. A deal? We see everything. An evil spirit that would bring the destruction to your house has been possessing you for a while now. We can seal this curse away. Think for a moment. You surely would have some idea of what I speak of. An old blind minister speaks up. Perhaps in times for your father, Aratachi, and your grandfather before him, we did prosper. But seemingly in one instant, everything turned against us. Our enemies found all in their favor, and our most powerful warriors fell. I could believe it's the work of an evil spirit. Aratachi still doesn't seem to quite believe it. You are unlikely spinning this same tale to our enemies. What do you want? We want for nothing. Almost nothing. In order to grant your desire, there is one thing we would ask for, that is all. I knew it. What do you want? We have precious little left to give. We do not seek treasures. We just ask that you and those who are saved must continue their spiritual training down the generations ahead. Which means what? I speak of when you are reborn again in the future. Really, it is nothing of significance. The true nature of this world is casualty and karma. These things will simply appear as differing fluctuations. Be it casualty or karma, The very moment we are living in now is within the same flow. We are those who gently insert their hands into the endless flow of that river, tilting our palms, changing its course ever so slightly, and creating as a result a slight variation on causality via a different present and future. The volume of water, its purity and impurities, none of these things are changed. The balance of the world is maintained, and yet the collapse of your house, the fall of your people, that can be avoided. Our prayers contain the possibility of that. If you are willing to feel the burden of karma and accept some measure of understanding of this world, all those listening have puzzled expressions on their faces, unable to make sense of what the monk is telling them. But when he talked about their escape from destruction, I felt the hearts of everyone present skip a beat. The monk has woven quite a spell of words, as though binding his listeners with some kind of eldritch art. I can't believe this so easily. Why would you do this? What do you want? Can you not feel it about us? We are those born between this world and the next. We intervene ever so slightly in this world, preventing souls from falling into the infinite darkness of causality. If you are unable to believe us, then that will be the end of it. Maybe you would accept it more easily if I told you we created this downpour in order to give us time to come and talk with you. You still hear the rain, do you not? And how it grows fainter? If we leave this place, the skies will clear at once, and the enemy will attack with the dawn. If that's what you desire, we can arrange that easily, you know. Aratachi and the ministers all look at each other. They still have a feeling rooted deep in their logical hearts, but this is all too sudden and strange a thing to quickly believe. On the other hand, they clearly have no other way to be saved, and the incantation-like words of the monk have also affected them deeply. Very well, give your prayers. If nothing changes, your heads will flow. The monk gives a satisfied nod, and the other four immediately break in the preparations. They begin to chant what sounds like some kind of spell, a long and unbroken piece of music. They start a fire, form a circle around it, and begin to pray. The ceremony continues through the night. Toward the morning, the skies start to brighten. It is the complete opposite of the day before, with clear skies completely free from cloud. The monks sit around a burnt-out fire, no longer moving. Aratachi and the others have been awake all night watching them pray, and now the monks have stopped moving and talking completely. The men quickly jump to their feet. Hey, have you completed your prayers? Aratachi grabs the robe of the monk. With a rustling sound, the headcloth and clothing drop to the ground in an empty pile. What is the meaning of this? They vanished. Where have they gone? Then one of the princess's handmaidens rushes in, her face pale. Lord Aratachi, Princess Rei is suddenly taken ill. Please, you must come at once. He rushes to the princess's chamber. He opens the door to find her lying weakly on the bed, coughing and spluttering. When she notices him nearby, Princess Rei raises both of her hands. Rei raises both of her hands without saying, it looks like she can't even see. But she has sensed Aratachi by his body warmth and his breathing. She places both hands around his face, holding his cheeks. And she speaks, her voice fading fast. Lord Aratachi, forgive me, I understand everything now. This is some kind of punishment I am sure. You have been so kind to the core of your soul, and have continued to betray that kindness. What are you talking about? Explain yourself, Princess Rei. I am Rei, daughter of Saigan. Saigan pretended to be a brave general in service of your father. But in actuality, he served your enemies. What? Not for his own selfish gain, though, Aratachi. That I have to believe. He wanted to end this fighting as quickly as possible and bring peace to this world. That had to be true. From as young as I can remember, my standing has been drilled into me, explained to me over and over what is most important thing I must do. How to act while I am your bride, Lord Aratachi. Aratachi is unable to say anything, and simply listens to the princess talk. Just once my father told me something most terrible. I will never forget the look on his face that day. If anything were to happen to him, if he were facing death at the hands of any sides, he would consider the situation at the time and send me a memento of his life. If when my mother's hairpin arrived, he told me intently I should join you and live in the righteousness at your side. But if his sword arrived, I should immediately use it to cut you down and open the gates to the enemy. No. Aratachi saw the sword carried in by the messenger, and it is now in the corner of the room. I wanted to save you at the time. I also wanted this conflict to come to an end as quickly as possible. I'm so glad I've been able to unburden myself like this. I hope that you will not hate me. It's fine, please hush now. No, I have one more thing to say. A signal my father told me about. The princess was told to use 2 smoke signals from the fort to inform the enemy. That will tell them to hold off the attack for a little while. Aratachi orders the ministers to do just that. If that actually does stop the enemy attack, it will also prove that her father was colluding with the enemy. Princess Rei's voice grows even fainter and harder to hear. Aratachi moves closer, his face closer to her mouth. She reaches for her clothing and takes something out, something small. Please take this with you, something passed down by my mother's line, an item used by the divine priestesses. I'm sure it will guide you, Lord Aratachi. With that, she quietly expires. Aratachi gently... I'm saying Aratachi now. Aratachi gently lays down her body. The clear skies and the morning sun shines brightly down. The enemy do not move at all, however. Only the sounds are birds of the wind. No, there is another sound, the crackling of 2 signal fires. One of them is used to cremate the body of Princess Rei. Lord Aratachi, we need to go. I'm sorry I can't go yet. Those who wish to depart may do so. Aratachi waits as long as possible to collect the bones of Princess Rei. As the smoke signals die down and the enemy can be seen preparing to attack again, he finally escapes to the rear gate. When Aratachi and a few of his closest men slip away, the smoke is almost gone and the enemy unleash a rain of fire again. The air is dry today. The fort is swallowed by flames in an instant. That isn't all. The fires start to spread to the forest Aratachi is fleeing into. The fire spreads fast, their clothing charring, cinders flying through the air, the fire gradually closing in. They find one unburnt corner and rush into it, desperately escaping. The enemy are already attacking the main keep, but they will soon realize it is empty and start after them. Aratachi and the others who escaped manage to meet up again. There's only a few dozen of them left. Then they begin their escape from this burning hell. There are young handmaidens, elderly people among them too. Any who can keep up mercilessly left behind. Who can't keep up mercilessly left behind? They run for more than a week through the mountains. Some of the ministers cling to the idea of regrouping, finding a friendly force they can join, and awaiting a change to surge back into power. But as food runs out and they find themselves drinking rainwater and chewing leaves just to survive, such a bold talk fades away. They just want to avoid the enemy forces and find a safe, quiet place. As they see the ones who walked beside them yesterday fall dead today, stumbling along in hallucinatory haze until they tumble over a cliff. They switch over to pure survival instinct, simply wanting to find anything, a hut, a hovel, a pit in the ground, where they might live a little longer. Holy moly. This is intense. Whoa. Back down the triple. Oh my god. Oh shit, I think I'd read out my bad. They follow the river, and the remaining members of Aratachi's party, only around 10 of them, look down at a small bay from a waterfall. They are saved, perhaps, although none of them can vocalize it at the moment. From deep in the mountain mists, the sunlight is rising over the horizon, making the water sparkle. The flat land looks perfect for growing rice, and the calm bay is filled with fish that would be easy to catch. They search around carefully, confirming there are no dangerous animals or risks or enemies finding them here. They wash their clothing and bodies in the water, recovering themselves a little, finding some smile. They make tools, cut down some trees, and make rough dwellings. Those with blacksmith and carpentry experience surviving the ordeal really saves them. To begin with, they are careful even with lighting fires, worried about giving away their position, but no pursuit arrives. Aratachi orders the people to build a village. They gather herbs and mountain plants, catch fish, find crops they can cultivate and plant fields. The season turns, the years pass, and a small settlement is formed. With all the fog in the summertime, they name this place Summer Fog, or Natsugiri. When a young couple marry and they have their first child, there is much celebration. For many years they held the fear that those who hunted disgraced warriors would arrive. But with the passing of time, and no such occurrence, such worries fade away. They don't know for sure how far removed this land is from the territory of their enemy, but it's quite rich in nature and seems very safe. The people's hearts gradually leave the tension of war behind, and just as Princess Rai and Aratachi had desired, they learn to enjoy poetry, singing, and stories, and to revel in the changing of the seasons. My voice is going to be on tomorrow, my ears. It can help. After more than 10 years, Aratachi is still single. He had been told that the karma would fall onto those who had been saved. He didn't know if that meant himself, after reincarnation, or his descendants. But he is still fighting the pain of losing Princess Rai, and the sadness at all the betrayal that he has suffered, and he is fighting them alone. In summer, a few years later, one of those who had fled here to Natsugiri dies of old age. Aratachi proposes that they send lanterns up to the sky, a memorial for their fallen comrade. The descendants that they left behind might be born into suffering right down at the end of their line. The lanterns therefore also contain the desire to ward off evil things, like the smoke signal of the fort, and the hope of taking the departed souls to heaven. The number of lanterns grows. The number of lanterns grows in the number of each year, one by two. Sorry, I cannot read. I'm losing. I cannot read. I assume we can just walk across the water. Or if I believe. Eventually, it is 40 years since the refugees settled in Natsugiri. Aratachi is old now, and there are more young children living in the village. The children and grandchildren of those who came here first. People are self-sufficient, not living rich lives, but peaceful. It's going to bring us back to the trench. The two boys started to fight over one of the village girls. One of them took his grandfather's sword and killed the other boy. Everyone who was left behind was greatly saddened by this happening. Even though things seemed peaceful, it's impossible to completely remove the darkness from people's hearts. That added another lantern to be sent up into the sky. All the stories, they're all kind of linked into this past of Natsugiri. There was another family with a parent and child who couldn't get along, and the child left Natsugiri. The child didn't come back. No one living there knew what things were outside the village. They gave up, thinking the child lost. My goodness. Aratachi was still alone. With his crooked back, he climbed slowly up into the mountains. Well, I gotta go up into the mountains? I guess I do. Ah, what a peaceful place. The squabbles may continue, but we feel completely separated from the world of conflict out there. I would have been so happy if Princess Rai could have been here with me. Was it a mistake to make that foolish deal? That was a question with no answer, and yet a question that circles inside his head every single day. Could he have persuaded her to run away with him? But there was no escape from his regrets. Were the descendants of these people going to be born here and then have to suffer in this peaceful place? He wanted the curse to end with his generation. Then he feels a presence at his back. He turns to see two women standing there, one wearing white, one wearing a black kimono. Who are you? No need to be surprised. We have watched over the priestess from this mountain since ancient times. Aratachi wonders if he's seen things in his old age, or maybe there's some kind of evil spirit. What do you mean, priestess? There's a gentle hill in the middle of the valley, right? Pardon. The princess was buried there long ago. We are her protectors. This land has been uninhabited for hundreds of years since that time. You have achieved so much in a short span. Well done. You aren't of this world, are you? Then you already see it, do you? The foolish thing I did as a young herb. I've lost so many precious things. I too will soon be gone, if possible. I wish to rise with that light up into heaven. Tell me, both of you, I have lived alone in remembrance of those I have lost. Will the causality surrounding me end with me? Will the children of this village live happy, blessed lives? That is an impossibility. You are cursed. All of you. Cursed. Cursed to the end of each of your lines. This is not limited to only you. It will appear in each of those who are born. The suffering you have created will rain down on each of them. That is what you wanted. And it is not necessarily a bad thing. Not a bad thing? How can you say that? What do you mean? Because that is already the nature of this world. You cannot be so naive. Indeed, you already know this truth better than most. Impurities may pool in one place, but in others the water runs clear. The entire river does not become polluted, and does not become clean. The curse cannot muddy the waters. Sometimes dirty, sometimes clear, sometimes changing between those two alternate states. But foolish humans are unable to understand this. The two women, one in white, one in black, laugh with sounds like calling birds. Their voices blended into first, fading away, and then two of them form a spiral in the air and vanish as well. Okay. I guess we return down the stairs. Oh, halfway down. As Aratachi comes down from the mountain, two cats cross in front of him, one white, one black. Why can't I? I physically can't. What? Oh. I got stuck. Oh, I feel like we're getting to the end of the game. I just realized I didn't do an intro to this episode, but I didn't know how long it was going to be, so I thought I'd leave it in the last one, but I didn't. Aratachi tells the people that they need to build a shrine up on the mountain, a place to wish for the peace of the residents of Natsugiri. That is the final command he gives his people. Okay. Now where do we go? Do we go to the shrine? Yeah, we go to the shrine. Another lantern rises into the air. A big one. Released by the people whose lives are now rooted in Natsugiri, with the hope of carrying Aratachi's soul away to the heavens. Oh, Mr. Aratachi passed. Or Lord Aratachi. It is followed by a second large lantern. This was something Aratachi asked for on his deathbed, to send another beautiful light into the sky for Princess Rai. Natsugiri Memory Fragment 6, the beginning. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, if you did, it's not to like, really comment and subscribe. My voice, oh man, I'm definitely not going to be able to speak tomorrow. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys. I think we might be getting near the end. I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong. I don't want to look up in case we are near the end, but I feel like we're kind of wrapping up the story a bit. Been wild. So yeah guys, thank you so much for sticking with it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.